We're lucky enough to have a few trees on our property just north of Toronto. One of the species we have is the ash. It's a beautiful hardwood that's used for furniture, flooring, cabinetry. It's used for a whole bunch of stuff, including baseball bats, tool handles, and hockey sticks. Unfortunately, in our neck of the woods, the ash is susceptible to an invasive species called the emerald ash borer. You know you have it because the trees have these telltale little holes in them, and eventually they start to die. The insect lays its eggs in the bark of the tree, and eventually the larvae just basically eat underneath, girdling the tree and killing it. When that happens, it's best to cut the trees down, which I did, and in my case, I took out the stumps too. This is the story of two of them. I'm still a novice with the little BX23s. I got it late last year, and I've done a whole bunch of stuff with it, but I'm still learning. These two stumps were about 1 meter or 3 feet apart, and their roots were pretty much intertwined. With their roots so knotted together, and also so close to the surface, it was really hard to get any kind of bite out of the bucket. Eventually, it was clear that the bucket was going to take forever, so it was time to bring out the Ripper. After probing around, I started to find some more roots, and actually I found another buried stump under there too. After breaking some roots and loosening the ground, it was time to switch back to the bucket. After clearing a lot of the earth, it was time to go back to the Ripper, and I made this change a few more times. I have a quick attach system for the rear bucket. It's an aftermarket product, and it really helps to change things pretty quickly. Slowly but surely, the stump was getting more and more exposed. It is often said that the way you eat an elephant is one bite at a time, and taking out a big stump is kind of the same thing. You just have to be patient and do it piece by piece, and eventually it will come loose. There is something so unbelievably satisfying when the stump finally breaks free and it's loose. The next problem you face is how do you get it out of the giant hole you've just dug? I'm not sure how much this thing weighs, but I'm glad the Ripper managed to hook it, and I was able to drag it out of the hole. Once it was clear, I just wrapped a chain around it, fixed the other end to the tractor, and dragged it out. Then it was time to move on to the second one. I took some of the dirt that I had piled there from the first hole, filled that hole, and started on the second stump. Here's a pro tip. Get as close as you can to the stump so you can dig the back side of it, especially if you don't have access from all 360 degrees. Do that first before you dig the hole in front of it. The second one was pretty much a rinse and repeat of the first one. I swapped the bucket and the Ripper a few times, and eventually it came loose. Some people say these utility tractors are glorified lawnmowers. Well, I have to say I don't know any lawnmower that can do this kind of work. I have to say I'm unbelievably impressed. It took me about 4 hours to do the first stump, and then with the extra room, it took me about 2 hours to do the second one. This is the fourth stump I've taken out, and by the time I was finished, the engine had reached almost 50 hours and time for me to do its service. But that's the subject of the next video. Thanks for watching.